right. Well, good morning, everyone. It certainly is a pleasure to be here today talking about a very interesting topic to me, and I think increasingly interesting and important to the industry as well. I want to give a quick nod of thanks again to Oxford University for hosting the conference, and also to Professor Janis and Professor Dinwiddie for putting together what is a really impressive agenda. Which I think will continue to, as this morning's session showed, provide for engaging conversation. So with my talk today, what I wanted to touch on was first the historic importance of IP law and the role it's played in protecting innovative visual appearance on physical products for many years. And then talk about a trend that we've already talked a little bit about today, and that is a trend where innovation in visual appearance is increasingly found in what some have called sort of the virtual realm. And by that I mean two-dimensional software, UI. I think we've certainly seen that as consumers over the past 15 years. We've seen it as IP practitioners. And I think sort of just being completely immersed in software and the devices world the past 12 years at Microsoft, I've certainly seen it as well. So as I mentioned, what I thought I'd do here is just start with a little bit of history, which I think is probably well known to most of this audience, so I'll quickly move through it. IP laws have provided important incentives for innovators in the physical realm for many years, in fact, generations. And so just to call out a few iconic examples, you have the VW Bug, first introduced in 1938, and VW continues today to utilize design regimes across the world to protect their innovative car designs. Next, you've got the classic Coca-Cola bottle, first protected with a U.S. design patent, I believe, in 1915. And then lastly, Hershey's Kisses. Its unique conical shape and sort of the paper plume has been protected by the IP laws for many years, I think starting in the 1920s. And I could go on. Certainly you think about MP3 players. You think about the iPod, for example. You think about cars, and you think about very interesting designs coming out from many shoe companies like Nike or Adidas. And while these companies obviously compete across a variety of factors, you think about price, you think about functionality, you think about quality, design continues to be an important aspect of how companies think about putting together their products. And I think increasingly that's the case for consumers as well. And so whether you're shopping for a car, I'm not in the market for this beautiful car, I wish I was, but a car or a lamp, a mouse or a computer, the design of the product is important. And I think, again, as I said, well, that's an interesting slide transition. We'll go with this. We're seeing that same trend today move into the virtual realm. So here we've got a very small mobile device at the upper left-hand corner, which shows the Windows Phone interface. And what I wanted to just briefly describe there is why is it that companies now are focused on software UI? I think there's a couple key trends that are fairly intuitive. The first is that mobile internet-connected devices are obviously becoming enormously popular. At the same time, those devices are dominated by the display of the device. And with that, obviously comes the importance of the software UI to help provide the visual impression of the device. Second trend that we're seeing, I think, is around cloud services. Today, there are many companies that distribute their product over the web. And these products are provided through a software UI. They're not attached to any particular device or any physical product. And in fact, the UI is really not oftentimes associated even with a particular display size, form factor, right? The UI could be on a phone, it could be on a PC, it could be on a TV, or we're already seeing it on a refrigerator, for example. And so the software UI is becoming increasingly important. We'll see how these slides work. Perfect. So this differs from the recent past. We think about the mobile devices that we've carried in our pockets the past 15 years. What competitors were focused on at that time really was the industrial design of the physical appearance, right, of the device. So here we've got a couple great phones from the past 10, 12, 13 years. And it's clear, right, that the focus of the industrial design was on the clamshell, on the casing, on the unique layout of the keyboard. Whereas today, again, most of the devices today that we have are really dominated by the display, which then basically just increases the importance of the software UI. And so I think that what we're seeing then is we're seeing design systems, I think, around the world increasingly recognize the importance of software UI and two-dimensional designs to consumers and to companies. And what that brings then is incentives for companies to continue to innovate and provide great products to consumers. One of these incentives, I think, that we're seeing is an incentive to increasingly invest in professional industrial designers in the software world. And so just like a car company or a watch company invests in industrial designers to painstakingly create the unique visual appearance of their products. Companies like Huawei, companies like Microsoft, and many others in the software and device space now are investing heavily in professional software designers whose job it is to continue to refine the UI. And I can say just from my personal practice, I've been at the company for about 12 years, supported the Windows organization for the past 8, that the design of the software is critical and integrated into the development of the development cycle from day one. It's also interesting to note that the industrial design community is increasingly recognizing the importance of design in the 2D world. As one example, in 2011, the Industrial Design Society of America gave out 3 of their prestigious Best in Show awards. This is an international design award that they have on an annual basis. 3 Best in Show awards in 2011. One award was provided to the Boeing Company for their design of the 787 Dreamliner. The second award was provided to a unique design by a medical prosthetics device. And I'm sure it won't surprise you, given that I work for Microsoft, that the third award was provided to a software UI design. And that design was the Windows Phone UI. And so, again, I think as design regimes around the world increasingly understand the importance of software UI, both to consumers, I think we'll see further incentives for companies to continue to invest and innovate in this important space. And so with that, I wanted to switch gears a bit and talk about some of the design patent filings that we have filed over the past several years, just to give you a sense for how we're thinking about design protection at Microsoft. So here is a series of design filings that we have on the new tile-based interface that you've seen first with Windows Phone 7. Here's an illustration of the home screen here, obviously using dash lines, as we're all familiar with. Next is sort of a similar UI on the Xbox. Again, sort of the tile motif. And one of the design filings that we have on that design. Next is the start screen for Windows 8, which was just released a few weeks ago. And one of the design filings for that tile interface. Obviously, there are a few more that we filed to protect this particular interface. Next, I'll see if I can get this running. I wanted to illustrate one of the animations that we have in Windows 8. Let's see if it's going to pop up. Yes, it is. Great. So this is the new Snap feature in Windows 8, and it allows you to dock two applications on the screen at one time. And so I just wanted to illustrate how we've gone about pursuing that with design patent coverage. So what we're seeing here is really just a tick through the figures that we've included in our design file. You can imagine there are a series of figures that illustrate the user interface that's seen by the user as they're docking an app. And we've done that here with numbers to make it clear that there are two different UIs, if you will, that are being docked on the screen at the same time. This is something that we've pursued for the past several years. So what I wanted to provide here was just a quick example of one of our animated design filings back in the Windows Vista era, some 5, 6, 7 years ago. Again, with a series of figures to illustrate the UI to the examiner. And then last, I just wanted to close with a couple other design filings filed in the 2005 timeframe on the start menu and taskbar. So here we're protecting the unique aspect of both the taskbar and the start menu. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Andy. When you, please.